Hello, everyone. Today is November 15th, 2021. I'm here with Lexi Sotiros. Lexi is a florist in training. Thanks for coming on the podcast, Lexi.
Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. You were saying right before we started the recording that it's really dark out in Chicago.
Yeah, it's really dark, and if you hear like sirens going off every 10 minutes, that's just Chicago, so don't worry about it. But yes, it's been dark since about 2:30 p.m. this afternoon, and it snowed for one of the first times today, so I guess we're starting to get into winter in Chicago.
Wow, 2:30 p.m. But you're a Wisconsin, so you're used to those early sunsets.
Yeah, it's once daylight savings hits, it's like mostly dark out all day and gloomy and cloudy, but at least I'm in like a city where there's things to do and it's not like Wisconsin. I mean, Milwaukee's not bad, but living at home in the suburbs is kind of just like go home and that's it and wake up the next day for and it's daylight for a couple hours and then it's dark again. So, but
Wow.
mhm.
Is that what it's like for like a teenager or a child in winter in Wisconsin?
Yeah, I definitely remember a lot of that growing up. And then there's just like, I mean, there's a lot of like winter sports that people do, like skiing, snowboarding, tubing. There's a lot of places in Wisconsin, and or they have like a cabin up north that they'll go to and do stuff like that. So there's stuff to do. It's just like cold and dark all the time.
Yes, so it's less exciting to do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow. Dang, that's not like, I mean, that's a whole different way of, do you plan differently then? Like today, did you plan accordingly due to you knew it was going to get dark out?
Um, Not really. I usually when winter hits and it starts to get cold, I like do everything I can to not really be outside that much. But yeah, it kind of just feels like the day goes fast. Like today, I mean, this weekend we did a bunch of stuff and it was like kind of like threw us off our routine for today. So today I felt like I was just like back to back doing stuff, whether it was like work or like my just like personal around the house type of stuff. But yeah, I don't really plan differently. I just don't really go out that much in the winter just because it's so cold and I hate it.
Yes, I can relate.
Yeah.
What did you do this weekend?
We went to what did we do? Friday we went to this new place. It's like a new massage place in Lincoln Park, and it was awesome. It was like way more than I expected. So we went there and like did one, and then I work for Uber, so I got Uber credits for Uber Eats, and we got this like dinner from this steakhouse, and it was actually ended up being amazing. So we got the massage, and then came home and had a like steak dinner together, and then just like watched a movie and fell asleep. And then Saturday we went to the Shed Aquarium, which I had not been to yet. So I'm a bad Chicagoan for that.
Wow.
Yeah,
And
it was
that's a
cool. Yeah, it
like
was
staple thing of Chicago.
yes, very stable. Like it's right next to Soldier Field. So it's like the aquarium, the planetarium, and then the Field Museum are all like right by each other, and then Soldier Field's like right across the street. So those three things are like pretty much Chicago must dos. And it was really pretty busy. We had to wait in line for like 15, 20 minutes and it was like wrapped all the way around. It went pretty fast, but there was a lot of kids. It's a very kid friendly type of place, but it was pretty cool to see all the sea creatures and the sharks and everything. But yeah, we did
Yes.
that and then just kind of chilled. And then Sunday we actually met up with a couple of or my coworker and his fiance and just like watched football at a bar. But that ended up we ended up staying out longer than expected, so we just like didn't do anything productive yesterday. So today was the day we had to do it all while working. So
Okay. Oh,
yeah.
like all your personal productive things?
Yeah, like laundry and like making food and cleaning and all that
Yes.
stuff. So
Do
it was,
you meal prep?
yeah, we tried to. I like doing it because it's less time while I'm working to like have to make food, and like I like recipes that are like probably more complicated and like actually taste good. So
Yes.
that requires more work.
Versus
Um,
chicken and rice.
yeah, versus chicken and rice. Um, and yeah, so I usually take Sundays to do that, and make sure that we have some good meals for the week. But sometimes, like, life gets you, and Sundays kind of get eaten up by other things, and it's hard to kind of bounce back through the week. But we figured it out. We got it done today.
That's interesting you say that. Sunday, yes, my Sunday got consumed yesterday. Like I was like, I'm gonna do all these things, X, Y, Z, and just eventually I hung out with a friend in the middle of the day,
Mhm.
hung out with a friend at the end of the day. Then there was a concert playing at the beach, so I went to the concert and just, it by the end, it's just that, Sunday at 8 p.m. and you've
Yeah.
had a full day ready to sleep.
Yeah, I definitely am a routine person, and when I get thrown off, I just get a little flustered like through my week, but I think we got enough done today that I'm in a better place. But this morning was a little rough.
Nice.
Yeah.
What are some parts of your routine that you really enjoy or you think are critical to your?
Um, I think for me, the biggest thing that is in my routine that helps me through the week is on Sunday night, I'll go through my like personal calendar and my work calendar, and I'll write it all in my planner so I don't forget. And it's kind of like mentally preparing for like what I have. Like if I have like a busy, like packed Thursday, like just being prepared for that. Um, and I also I write in my workouts so I don't skip them. So I'm just like held accountable, and I love crossing things off lists. So
Yes.
um, that's that's kind of like how I set myself up and make sure that I'm staying on task and getting things done that I need to get done. So that's like the biggest part of my routine that I missed yesterday, and I got back on track today with it. But yeah, that's the biggest thing that helps me like kind of ease the Sunday scaries a little bit and just take on the week and be prepared for everything. So
Nice.
yeah.
Lists can be very helpful. Do you have so like a calendar you can go through every day and just say, "Oh, I crossed off this workout,"
Mhm.
or what, working for this time. Do you have any other types of lists?
Yeah, I have a list for everything. I have a list for groceries. I have a list for like I made a like Google Doc list of like cleaning, like
Wow.
broke up between like ongoing, weekly, and monthly, and then just like grocery lists that like I keep like the basics that we get every time, and then add to it if I have like certain recipes that I need extra ingredients for or whatever. But yeah, I always make lists and organize them so that I'm organized when I go to the store. Because I don't hate grocery shopping, but I hate when it, like, turns into a 2 to 3 hour trip because we're just, like, walking all around and don't have, like, a plan, and
Yes.
that's kind of, like, my thing. I like to just get in there and get out as quick as possible, so I think that's why I really, make sure I make a list, and I'm crazy about it before we go because I just need a plan before I go in there.
That's a good call. And not, another thing that, a list is definitely going to solve is when you go into a grocery store and get a bunch of things except for one thing or maybe two
Yeah.
things that you like really wanted,
Mhm.
and that's just sucks.
Yeah, and also it kind of prevents you from, like, impulse buying as well. Um, it kinda just keeps you on track of, like, "Okay, I need this list of stuff and that's it, and we're going to go home. I know some people that go to the grocery store and don't really have a plan, like end up buying a bunch of junk food that they shouldn't be eating and all that stuff. So that's helped me because I was a huge junk food eater growing up and also like in college and stuff. So I had to adjust a little bit. So that keeps me on track as well with like nutrition wise.
Yes, I was a huge junk food eater as well throughout my
Yeah.
entire up until like maybe 4 years ago.
Up until your body's like, stop eating junk food, please. It
Seriously,
hurts.
like it really hurts.
It does.
And ugh, like I was getting GERD. I don't know if you know what GERD is, but it was at 20, like way too young. And I
Yeah.
was just like, this is terrible. My dad got it at like 50, and I was getting it at like way too young of an age. And I was like, this is directly a result of having a crazy diet over 23 years.
Yeah. Like that inflammatory stuff. It's just like, I eat like, you know, or I like even like drinking too. That like makes me hurt and inflames me like the day after drinking. That's like my joints are hurting me, my back's hurting me. I'm like, it's just not good. But I
No.
definitely have learned a lot about food through this past year. Being at home with COVID, it's like I've just been like doing more research on recipes and like anti-inflammatory diet, and even like a Mediterranean diet is pretty good for your heart and stuff. So just trying to like figure stuff out, like what works with my body and stuff. But it's a lot of trial and error. But I've cut out a lot of inflammatory type of foods. But of course, you have like the weekends where you go out with your friends and you're at a restaurant and you don't really have a choice. But once in a while, that's fine. But through the week, I try to be pretty good about my nutrition. So it's
Yes.
balanced.
Yes, it balances. And like you said, and I can relate because I it was the same for me. When we eat junk food for our entire lives, it's like versus your boyfriend Michael, who's like, was raised by a very nutritious thinking, healthy thinking parent
Yeah,
and had the habits of like good eating like growing up. It's like tough to like implement those at a later age.
it is. I,
Cause
I
like,
feel, yeah,
oh,
go ahead.
go.
Sorry.
No, you go.
I was just going to say, yeah, I felt like it was hard for me to like fathom that healthy food will taste good, but you have to just like work at it, find alternatives. And there's always an alternative, a healthier alternative to like an ingredient. So, like, and that's what like I had to learn, but I just had to like make healthier recipes to figure that out. I really think Whole 30, when we did Whole 30, I think it was in 2020, last
I think
year.
so too, because Michael was
Yeah.
telling me.
Yeah, I think that's what really kind of like jump started my like just finding like different healthier recipes and looking for ingredients, because it was a lot of label reading and you couldn't have a lot of things. So it kind of jump started my like, okay, well, there's always a healthier alternative. And or do I really need to make like French fries? Can we make like, a side salad instead, or just stuff like that. Or just like even like sweet potatoes versus regular. But just getting like those nutrients that you should be having that I've been lacking the past 25 years of my life.
Yes.
So yeah.
It's like you said, trial and error. It's not going to be easy. The hardest thing is like, when we fall off the wagon, and sometimes we like beat ourselves down even more, and we're
Mhm.
just, we're already in a place where, okay, we did something that we're not too happy about, and really we can obsess about it and just like even just beat ourselves up and eat worse foods in the end, just to make an excuse because, oh, I did that, might as well just keep on going. Or we can just say, all right, I ate whatever for those days, and that's okay. Let me just get on it today
Mhm.
and try and keep on going. It's not easy at all. Like,
No. No,
especially, what, go?
I was just gonna say, especially if you're on like a weight loss journey and you feel like you're trying to be strict through the week, and then you go out with your friends and you have, a fried chicken sandwich, and you feel guilty when come Monday, but that one day isn't going to make you gain a bunch of weight. Like, just get
No.
back to it on Monday and it'll be okay. And just make healthy choices. Like, it's not something that you need to just completely like not go out and not go out to eat. Just making those choices of, hey, like maybe I can get the grilled chicken sandwich instead of the fried chicken sandwich. And even if you get the fried one, like, again, just get back to it on Monday. But I struggle with that a lot. Michael and I were actually just talking about this, that I feel just like guilty on Monday when I have a weekend or like a vacation. I feel like I'm set back, and all the work I did the weeks before is just like for nothing. And I've really learned to kind of just like not pay attention to the scale, because your weight fluctuates so much throughout the day and throughout weeks, like depending on like hormonal changes and all that stuff. So it's like there's a lot of things that go into it that's not really telling the full story. But as long as I feel good and I'm energetic and I feel like healthy and nothing's hurting on my body, I'm trying to like look for those small wins instead of, oh, I suddenly lost 10 pounds on the scale. So I keep it as like a little bit of a guide, but I really try to not weigh myself on the scale as much anymore. Like, I used to do it every day and it was like getting exhausting. And now I'm like, you know what, whatever. As long as I feel good, I'm healthy, I'm great. Like, that's all I can ask for.
Yes. And like you said, our weights fluctuate so much. Like, I think even after a meal, like our
Mm-hmm.
weight is different than before a meal.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just, and to do it every day, I've done it too, because when you're on that weight loss journey, and I've been on that weight loss journey
Mm-hmm.
for probably a long time, definitely 10 years. It's like that those numbers really make a difference in your attitude, and
Yeah.
you just got to ignore it. And that's when it's like easier to just let go and then continue on with this moment, and just, how do
Mm-hmm.
I feel right now? And like you said, these changes, like, if I wasn't hurting, if my body, like 5 years ago wasn't like, you're in pain right now,
Yeah.
you, just something about you like is just hurting. And if that didn't happen, then I don't think I ever would have really gone on like a crazy, not a crazy, but like a really high intent weight loss journey.
Mm-hmm.
But it did start hurting, and you said your body said it started hurting. And inflammation, like just joints not being able to bend as easy, or just pain when we bend them.
Mm-hmm.
It's not fun to deal with.
Yeah. And my mom actually got diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis, which is in my fam. So my grandma, her mom had it as well. So it's kind of it's a hereditary thing, but it's also pretty preventable if you change your diet and like if you smoke, quit smoking type of thing. And I've never been a smoker, but obviously since my mom got it, I'm trying to make sure that even if I do get it, that I'm not hurting all the time. Um, Obviously this would be later in life, but I'm just trying to prepare myself for, I'd rather spend money on vegetables and fruits and healthier food that might be more expensive now than paying for hospital bills when I'm 60, 70 years old because I made bad choices eating and couldn't, keep my nutrition in check. But yeah, it's not as easy as people think, and I'm definitely not trying to say it's easy, but it's kind of like you have to have that mindset of like, okay, would I rather change my diet now and make these changes now to be better to set myself up for the future? Or do I just want to like eat what I want, don't care about anything? My body's always hurting. I'm lethargic. I have no energy, and like just carry that on through the rest of your life. Like, it's just not worth it to me.
No.
But obviously I like to indulge sometimes, like absolutely. And I had those moments, and I don't like, I'm really trying to work on not feeling guilty about it. So, like I said, it's not easy. It's not an easy journey, but it's definitely something that needs to be top of mind. And there's also so much like false information about nutrition in general out there.
Yes,
It's really hard for people to like really figure it out. But I think
very
it's just
hard.
kind of customized to everybody's body. Everyone's different. And, my sister can eat like a bunch of sugar and, I can't, and I have high cholesterol and I have a little bit of insulin resistance. So it's not something that I can really have that much of, but, and that's kind of an adjustment I've had to make throughout the years, just like getting blood tests and going to the doctor and figuring stuff out and all that stuff. So, but a lot of it comes from food. Like you can really fix your body through food. It's crazy and people don't understand it, but I know that it's true because I've seen it happen to myself, but I need to be more consistent on it. So I'm not perfect, but it's definitely worth it.
No, it's definitely worth it, and being consistent is like doing it once, it's an accomplishment for sure,
Yeah,
but being consistent at it, that's like, that's nirvana. I don't even it's tough to get there.
very tough.
And
Absolutely.
and like you said, you've felt yourself getting healthy as a result of diet and exercise.
Hmm.
And something that for me, I felt it too. That's really tough to grasp is when we fall off the bandwagon, like just dealing with the fact that you're not back there.
Hmm.
And like it's tough because then it also plays into the idea of or in that mentality of like I have to lose weight, I have to get back there.
Hmm.
I don't want just consistently evaluating yourself or comparing yourself towards, past former like former versions of
Former
yourself.
bodies. Yeah.
Yes, as something we spoke about even um, before we started recording is other people through social media, and
Mhm.
it's so in our face all the time. It's tough to
Yeah.
not compare ourselves to, anyone who we follow.
Mhm. Yeah, I definitely was feeling like I was comparing myself to a lot of people in general for a while there. And social media, like you said just now, that it's so influential on our like generation and our society now. It's like you're supposed to look a certain way and you feel like you don't. You're looking at yourself in the mirror, you're like, why don't I have a flat stomach? Why don't my thighs have a gap between them? Why don't I have rock hard abs? Why don't like I have big arm muscles? Like it's everyone has their thing about themselves, and even those people that you see that look perfect are not. They're probably struggling with something, or the picture's completely fake or edited or photoshopped. Like I don't know I don't know why we have that standard. It's really horrible, especially for females, but it's it's definitely hard to live up to in your own mind. And that's why I posted a picture of me in the gym, and I wasn't like posing, I wasn't sucking my stomach in, I wasn't trying to like anything. I just was like explaining this is my natural body. This is probably what 95% of everyone else looks like normally. But of course, we only see the cool, pretty, perfectly posed, awesome things on Instagram. We don't see like real bodies anymore. It's pretty sickening. But I had started to, one of my college friends reached out to me to get involved with her fitness coaching program. And I'm starting to be a fitness coach through them. So it's been awesome. They have an awesome community of girls, and they all kind of are in the same place of like, they wanted to get healthy and they needed accountability, and to be consistent and hold each other accountable and just kind of encourage each other along the way. So I have been a part of them as just like a customer, they call it. for about a year now. And then recently, at like pretty much at my year mark, I started to become a coach, and it's been awesome, and they're so welcoming and everything. But um, as I'm like starting to post more on social media about it to get, see if people are willing to be a part of that community, I kind of took a stance of like, okay, like I've seen a lot of fitness influencers around social media, and it's just like looks too fake. And the approach is always like, just do it, just go work out at 5 a.m. It's great, it's easy. Like it's not easy. And even if, you work out every single day and you eat perfectly healthy, sometimes your body just doesn't work the way that other people's bodies do. And it's a lot of trial and error, like we were talking about with nutrition and finding what workouts work for you. Like I figured out I was doing a bunch of like high intensity interval training workouts, and they were not. I was just like staying at like the same weight and just like not feeling like, I just felt like bloated all the time and just not like, I just didn't feel like it was working. So went to the doctor, got a couple blood tests done, figured out that my body will probably work with more of like a low intensity, like weight training and low intensity cardio. So I've been doing that, and that's been working, and I've been seeing results, not just like on the scale, like we were talking about. I'm trying to throw the scale away, but just like looking in the mirror wise, I see changes in my body, and I'm happy with it. But it's really just like, I could be still doing high intensity workouts and I'm still at this like plateau, and it was just not working for me. So, I kind of wanted to take the approach on my social media of, I'm real. I understand what everyone's going through. I know that this isn't an easy process. I don't expect you to be a fitness model with rock hard abs and, collarbone showing. I don't care. Like, I just want you to be like yourself and not feel like you are supposed to be compared to everybody else. So that's kind of the approach I took with it. And it was scary, but I got a lot of good feedback from my friends. So
Nice. That's exciting.
yeah,
What were your friends saying?
just like how they're like encouraging words, and then also like, oh yeah, like I've been through that. Like I totally understand. Like thanks for posting that. Like we needed that type of thing. So I think a lot of people think it, but don't want to post it on Instagram because it's not like what is normally being posted on there, compared to all these people who are famous, or even just like your friends. Sometimes it's like you're only seeing the highlights and the good poses and everything, and not really like real life stuff. So
Yes.
yeah, that was kind of the approach I wanted to take. I didn't want to be fake, and I wanted to come down to everyone else's level. Like, hey, I'm doing this with you. I'm still on my own journey. But hopefully we can get some people to join along and just not feel like they're pressured to compare themselves to anybody.
That's huge. I'm glad it's understandable that you got a huge outreach because most things on Instagram, it's like, and I'm guilty of it too, putting things up there that aren't necessarily how the last three takes went.
Yeah.
And it's, you know, we, it's kind of a crazy platform
Hmm.
because we can post whatever we want. It's very filtered.
Hmm.
I don't, we kind of have to, I don't think it's going to go anywhere. It- that idea of being able to put out a filtered version of yourself on a social media, but
Hmm.
I think this idea of being more vulnerable, not, not posting like I don't know what to say, like all the parties, all the, traveling, all the, like that's great. I actually enjoy seeing a lot of that,
Yeah.
but being more real, like, life's hard. Life's
Hmm.
hard a lot of the time. Like most of the time it's hard. And
Hmm.
sometimes it's really good and we'll take those wins when they come, but you know, and sometimes we make mistakes. Like
Mhm.
that's hard to put out there too. It's like, I've been making a huge mistake for the last couple of years, and I don't know how I feel about telling you that,
Mhm.
but it's a huge part of who I am.
Yeah. Yeah, and no one's expecting you to, disclose that to everybody, right? Like you don't have to put your negative stuff on there just to like be real. I think it's more of just being relatable and being like just a genuine person when it comes to, like, if I look at your Instagram feed and I see the perfect lighting and the perfect background and the perfect pose, and you're like, always turned to the side, and like, it just stuff like that where I'm like, okay, like you're not, this isn't real. This is just what you're like trying to portray to everybody else. And, I just think that the reason why social media has gotten so crazy with this, like what you're supposed to be or your image and the physical appearance that is, you're supposed to be, is just gotten out of hand, because that's all people post. Is just, you're only seeing the highlights of everybody's life. And like you said, there's nothing wrong with posting the wins and the traveling and the, you know cool things that are happening in your life. Like that's awesome. Like obviously keep posting that stuff. But if you're taking like 50, 60, 70 pictures just to post one, like relax and just post it. Like you're going to get good like feedback from your real friends and your real family members that are supporting you. So I
Yes.
think that, you know, it wasn't easy for me to post that because I've been so critical of myself, but I did it for myself. I did it to say, listen, like, I don't really care what people think at this point. I just turned 30 this past year. I don't care anymore. So
Nice.
I'm just like, if you don't like the way my body looks, you can unfollow me or not look at my stuff. I don't really care anymore. Like, I'm not going to put on like a facade for other people to make myself feel better through likes or get messages. Oh, you look so good. Like, whatever. Like, I don't really care. And I wasn't really expecting that type of feedback when I posted that. I was like, whatever. Like, it is what it is. I just want to put it out there, and I want people to know that I'm relatable and I can come down to their level. But it's hard, man. Like, you don't have to post your negative stuff, but you just need to be real. I think that's like the key with it.
Yes, being real. And that's not always easy either, but I mean, you've especially, I mean, being real on social media versus being real in person, we can separate that
Hmm.
because I think those are two different things. But
Agreed.
being real on social media, it's it requires, I think, a lot of like posting, which because like if you're only posting infrequently, then we're really not getting anything and we're not understanding where you're coming from. So it's probably not, the real you. I don't know if that makes sense, but it's definitely not something that's absorbable.
Right.
And so in the last year, you've also begun floristry and a blog, correct?
Yeah. So I was kind of struggling with trying to figure out what my passion was in general. Like I was working 9 to 5, making dinner, going to sleep, waking up, working 9 to 5. Like I was like in that like fog of a routine of like, I don't really like, I mean, I don't hate my job at all. I think that it's given me a lot of opportunity. And I love my coworkers. I love my manager. It's been great. I just think that I I felt like I personally needed like a creative outlet to use like my free time with, and potentially make money. And it's been great, but um I just was kind of feeling stuck. But I was just really thinking about like, what is my passion? What do I like doing? Being creative is like one of my things that I've never tapped into. I've always just been like sports and after I graduated college, it was like, okay, I need to find a job. Like I never like got that opportunity to like explore some things. So that was a kind of a wake up call for me, especially turning 30 this year. I kind of had like a 30-year-old crisis, some people would say, but um, yeah, I just was like, you know what? Like, I love flowers. My mom would always like bug me, like, you should like work at the grocery store and be a flower designer for like, whatever small things. And like when people come in and need a like arrangement for their wife, like, you should do that. Like, I think you'd be really good. And I've always been like a drawer, a painter. Like I would always be like, doing something with art when I was growing up. And my mom would always like, you should tap into that. You should tap into that. And I just never had like the confidence to just do it. Um, so I thought of it and Michael and I discussed it. And then I went to his cousin's wedding and I was talking to his mom and dad, and they were just like, just do it. Like, who cares if like you don't get like a following or whatever? Like, just try it and see what happens. So I came home that after that weekend. The following weekend, I like just made a website on Wix and made an Instagram and made a blog post and started posting and like launched it. And like a ton of people like again reached out to me and was like, oh my God, this is awesome. I had an old coworker reach out to me to like do her wedding. That was super small wedding like that
Wow.
day. So like it was awesome and like a great opportunity. So I'm really thankful that I actually just pulled the trigger, but I always was just like, I'm not like an Instagram influencer. I don't know like what's gonna happen. I don't know how to do this stuff. So but yeah, I think my advice if like anyone's wanting to do something like that, just do it and don't do it for like the following and the likes and all that. Just do it for you to just have that outlet and like feel like you have something else to look forward to in your day and in your free time. But it took a while for me to like actually pull the trigger.
It's what's the reason you think that is? That it took a while to pull the trigger?
I think in general, I lack confidence a bit. I kind of like have always like had good ideas, but always second guess myself, and I need like 10 people's opinions to feel like validated and to like actually start something. Um, or like if it's like a group project and I have an idea, like I have to like run it by them and make sure like I get the approval. And in some ways that's good. Like you always want like people to support you, but or just like maybe like another opinion or another like perspective of what you're thinking about, and to kind of give me like, well, like maybe some like contradictory thoughts to my ideas, which I'm open to that. Like that's what I like. That's why I ask people like, what do you think about this? But I was kind of doing it to a point where it was like too much and getting too many people's opinions and then like second guessing myself. But this time I kind of just asked the people who were like super, super close to me, including Michael, his parents, and then my parents, my sisters. So like those types of people. And my younger sister and her boyfriend also were like, just do it. Who cares? Like, just try it. You might suck at first, but you're going to learn a lot as you do multiple arrangements. So they all really like together pushed me to do it and just like try it. And it's been great. Everyone's been really supportive and I couldn't ask for more, honestly.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And what's the name of your company?
It's called Anthea and Co. I am Greek, so I wanted to do some sort of Greek name. And Anthea is a goddess of um, flowery wreaths and swamps, I believe. So I don't know, she kind of just brought like made everything pretty. So I thought that that would be a good name for my business. And kind of like what I want to do with the business. So I don't really have like a business plan right now. I don't have like a end goal with it. I'm pretty much just I like arranging flowers. It's my creative outlet. I might want to monetize it eventually, but it's just kind of in the beginning stages right now. So I'm just kind of absorbing and learning a lot with every arrangement I've made so far.
Nice.
Yeah.
What have you learned? Like, what does it entail to be a florist?
I think the biggest thing is um, knowing how much to buy. When I did the wedding, it was like I bought too much, and now I know, like, okay, like I can kind of like picture it a little better now, because I just didn't want to be like short any. But it worked out. Like it wasn't like crazy, but I think that was the biggest one. And then just like little things like birthday arrangements, like having like little personalized cards with it. And just like putting like my brand on the arrangement itself when I give them the arrangement when it's completed. And just like making sure again that I constantly post and like just keep people engaging with my Instagram profile because as you know, we talked about earlier, social media is just a huge part of everything right now, and you need to have it to like have a business. It's free marketing, like you can't really ask for anything more, but you really need to post a lot to keep people engaged with your profile and your business. So making sure that I'm doing that. And then like with the blog stuff, like I only have two right now, and I need to get doing that. So my goal is just doing one a week. Probably going to be on Sundays while we're watching football. So I just need to be better and get on a schedule with it. But the more I do that and post about it, I think the more engagement I'll get. So hopefully we'll see what happens. But that's kind of like my mentality right now. And then down the road, we'll see about a plan in terms of a business plan. So yeah, that's where I'm at right now with it. But it's really fun and I love it. And it's really awesome that my friends and family have supported me so much with it. So, yeah, I'm really excited about it.
That's very cool.
Yeah,
And it's, it's better to get too much than to get too little. Too little would have been bad.
exactly. Yeah, I was like so worried about it. And I found so like most flower wholesalers only work with people who have a business license, and I don't have one yet. But I did find one that works with the public, but they were only open like I think till 12 noon on during the week when I needed them. So I had to like make sure that we went there, we got everything we needed because I couldn't really go back there. So it's hard. And I guess finding wholesalers and flowers that you're not paying like an arm and a leg for that you can actually make, money on it is like really hard. And that's kind of what I'm like trying to research more on right now and see what like I can do. But I think the end goal and like the dream is to have like a flower shop and actually do bigger events and have just like a place where I have everything and see, that would probably be my main end goal. But until then it's just kind of a lot of experimenting. And my friends have been great and they like reach out like, "Hey, can you make something for my aunt's birthday or can you make something for my sister's birthday like really quick?" And it's been great. A lot of support. So, but yeah, there's a lot of things my mind runs crazy of like what I need to get. And I'm kind of like making a running list of stuff but like trying to organize it by like priority. So that's kind of been my like focus lately with the flower business.
That's an exciting venture to get into.
Yeah,
Like you said, do you work from home?
I do.
Okay.
Mhm,
I work from home too. And that 8 to 5 working from home, there needs to be something more to life than that. I love it. I personally think that, I don't know how happy I was in the office either,
mhm,
but and I think working from home promotes the ability to, bloom in other ways that
yeah,
because we're not so consumed with that work, like even the simple having to shower and then go get to the
Commute.
office.
Yeah.
That can be like 2 hours.
Yeah, I mean, I live really close to the office now and like more close to the city, but man, it would take me like sometimes an hour depending on like the trains and how busy they were. And sometimes I couldn't even get on a train because it was so packed and it was just hard. But yeah, I agree. I think the working from home has definitely opened up a lot of people's eyes because as I think about it, I'm like, okay, like when I was at the office, did I really do that much work? Like, by between like talking with your coworkers, like, all these offices now are like, ping pong tables, like awesome kitchens and cafes and coffee. Like it's just insane. Like our new office is like I'll have to show you sometime. It's crazy awesome. But they have everything in there. They have Zen rooms, they have like conference rooms that are like private, and then they have just like it's like it's really awesome, but it's very distracting when like everything's an open floor plan. You don't have an assigned desk, etc. So it's like just a lot of like socializing going on. And when you put all that together, it's like, okay, did I really work a full 8-hour day at my desk and grind it out? Like, no, we didn't. We talked, we walked around, we got food, we played ping pong, we played foosball, you know, whatever. Like it's just doesn't it kind of equates like, okay, well, now like if I have downtime at work, it's like, okay, I can throw in a load of laundry and be productive and like stuff like that. So I don't feel bad about doing stuff like that because I'm like, I'd rather be productive through my day than playing ping pong or just like talking with coworkers about nothing.
Yes, and not to coworkers are good, like,
Yes.
and those are exciting times, but, to play ping pong or to, you know, just ch speak with each other for, like, an hour,
Mhm.
but 5 days a week forever,
Yeah.
yeah, it's unnecessary.
Yeah.
I think, most people, not most people, I don't know, but I feel that way, you feel that way, and, like, we can do laundry, we can cook a meal, we can
Yep.
walk our dogs, we can
Yep.
do my dog, like, she's got me here all the time now, and it
She probably loves it.
loves, I mean, yes, she does, she would absolutely hate it if I was not here. Like, she doesn't even know what that life is.
Yeah. I
So,
I
what
can't even imagine. That's crazy.
yes. So, I mean, there's a lot, and I'm really happy with having a dog. So,
Mhm.
it's just another thing, like, there's so many possibilities that are open,
Mhm.
and, like you said, how much work is really, like, is there, like, more work being done in the office or less, or since what do you have something you'd like to say?
Yeah, no, I just like I agree, and I that's what I've been thinking about, like just with working from home the past year and a half. And I just think that it's I think it's pretty comparable, if anything, that we're either getting the same amount done, if not more. I think having less distractions and less people to talk to at home is like a blessing and a curse because I feel like the production wise, it's like the same, if not better. Like I feel like I'm more focused at home than I was in the office. Um, but I mean, my role has completely changed from when we left that one day in March and never went back. But it's just like, yeah, I don't feel like I'm any less productive than I was in the office while being at home.
Okay. Yeah, and, like you said, and like or I don't know who said it, but, we go into the office and we'd have a lot of conversations. Like, I remember before COVID hit, I was very close with my boss, with my coworkers,
Mhm.
with, I told the guy who sat next to me, he had 3 children and a wife. I was like, "Todd, you've seen me more in the last year than you've seen any of your family members." And and he was like, "Yeah, that's sad, but it's true." And it's like, now, like, that's a lot of effort and time and, like, energy, like, it takes a lot of energy to, like, converse with him for, maybe 15 minutes in a day, and, like, same with my boss and same with my coworker, so, like, all that cumulative energy, like, to speak with these people is, like, being pent in, and, like you said, like, that fog of 8 to 5, it 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 needed to be filled, and I think that's, part of the reason I began podcasting, part of the reason you began your blog and your company is a connection that, I didn't think it was really that well done through work. Yeah, I don't know how you felt, but, yeah, I didn't think that the social aspect of, what we really need was fulfilled in the office as much as it can be now if an individual works remotely.
Yeah.
But it was very difficult to fill at all before because we were so consumed within being in the office and working with our coworkers.
Yeah. Um, Real quick, my computer is about to die, so Michael might come down here to give me the charger. But um, yeah, I feel like at first when like COVID first hit and we were all like told we have to work from home, that people were like just people in general like hate change. And I think that was like the big like concern. But I think now people are more like, "I could work from home." Like, it's
Yes.
a lot easier, and, like, as time went on, eventually people were like, "Alright, like, I can do this. This is fine. I have a routine now." Like, I'd rather now they're stuck in their work from home routine. Now it's like, I don't wanna go back to the office, and I think that's what a lot of people are feeling right now, at least the people that I've talked to. But there are some people out there that are like, "I need to be in the office, and I miss it, and I'm more productive there and all that stuff, but I do not miss commuting and getting ready for work and all that stuff. It's just not my jam."
Not my jam either. Not my jam. I'd
Mm,
rather have a company, you have your company, and keep it easy going. Or not easy, but, have some fun outside of work.
yeah. Okay, 1 second, he's right here.
Okay.
Sorry, I always, underestimate my computer and how fast it dies. It's like I have so much stuff, like, I keep my tabs up for work because it's, like, annoying to kind of, like, log I have to, like, log into everything every day, and it's like, I'd rather just keep it up,
Yes.
and it just eats my battery, so I apologize, but
That's okay. That's
yeah.
okay. It's logging in, like, I have to do one where I have to use my phone to log
Yes,
into my work computer,
same.
and that's because if my phone's dead, then I can't get into my computer, and there was one point where I linked my phone to my company, and they actually, like, they had more authority over my phone than Apple did.
Oh my god.
And so I
No
was like,
thanks.
"This is my" Yeah, exactly, "No, thanks." Like, "Can you provide me with the work phone? Or I'd rather go buy a phone and use that as a work phone than give you that much auth" I forgot the password I gave them,
Mhm.
and I couldn't log into my phone
Oh my
until they
god.
d removed the lock. This is the company I work for. I was absolutely
Wow.
shocked that this technology, you know I wasn't shocked it existed, but I was shocked it's the only option.
Yeah, it's a lot of steps to log into my work tabs and everything. It's crazy how much stuff we use, but I at least feel better that, like, the security is good, that I'm not like we're not gonna have an issue. But yeah, I think that it's definitely annoying to have to log into everything through the phone and all that stuff. But yeah, I definitely think that working from home is doable, and I think a lot of more people are more comfortable with the fact and the idea of it now. And I think I've seen a lot of this on like social media and everything about how many people are actually resigning from their jobs to work from home at other companies because it's like some companies are like, no, you have to come back in the office, and people are like, well, why would I do that when I can, make the same, if not more money per year and then also work from home. Like, so it's a lot. Like we're going through a lot of turnover right now, but it's been crazy how many people have been leaving their jobs just like all over, it
The
seems
entire
like.
Yes, it does seem like it's very crazy. I don't know how that's going to play out in the future. I don't know if this because we've been in the workforce for like under 10 years,
Right.
and so we don't I mean I don't really understand, like I haven't seen like 2008. I have no idea how the workforce went then. Maybe I could ask my parents. I haven't,
Yeah.
but I don't know if this is unique or if this is like very, par for the course, but it seems pretty chaotic
Yeah,
all in all.
it is. It's like I said, like just the facing change, I think, was a big deal for everybody. And like, even like wearing masks was a big deal for everybody. And um I just think when you're like faced with a change like that, like a big one, it's like it throws your routine off. It throws, people with kids that like had to work, be at home, and they're home from school, and like also, but they still had to work. And it's crazy, but I just find it not funny, but I just find it ironic that people now are like, no, I want to work from home. But before they were like, oh my God, working from home, like, what am I gonna do? Like, I don't how am I gonna do this? And everyone's figured it out. And I think it was just like a panic because we didn't know what was gonna happen, but also just like again, just the change. And a lot of people just aren't they don't like change. And I don't like it either, but I definitely like the benefits of working from home more than working in the office.
Definitely. That one, it's hard to take in. I don't like change too. That was a big change.
Mhm.
Like I I remember telling people like this is the craziest thing that's ever happened in our parents' lifetime.
Yeah, seriously, it probably is. It's
S-
gonna
s-
be crazy to look back on too if it ever ends.
Yes, exactly. Like what is the definition of over? Like I don't think like you just said, yeah, what if it ever ends? I didn't even think about that. Like I definitely thought there was going to be an end date, but maybe there is no end date. And that was just the point where everything changed.
Yeah, I really don't think that I don't know. I really don't like think it's ever gonna like fully be normal again where we're like maskless walking around. And um I mean like certain like I go to Wisconsin. I think they're back in masks now, but before, even when Delta was a thing, like everyone was walking around without masks on. And but then I came back here, Chicago was like masks all the time, everywhere, which isn't a bad thing, but it's just it's crazy, like how and like winter is obviously coming now, so it's like what's going to happen during winter months and all that. So, but I don't really anticipate it going back to no masks ever, or at least like
Wow.
I mean, I don't know, like it's really weird. I'm not a scientist, so I can't really like explain any of it, but it's just like I don't see an end in sight. Like I don't see the light at the end of the tunnel at all with it. So,
No. I think anyone that I think, anyone who wears a mask it'll be socially acceptable.
yeah.
Whereas 2 years ago, if you wore a mask in Chicago, in the middle of Chicago, people
Walking
would, yeah, like, you'd be just look like a freak, but
around.
now
Yep.
it's like, even if you're the only person out of, like, 500 people in a stadium to be wearing a mask, I will understand why you're wearing it, and I will not, like I'll not think you're crazy for doing that. I'll just be like, okay, that guy wants to wear a mask. He feels safer for whatever reason. And
Yeah,
that's okay.
and it's really funny you say that because Michael and I went to I think it was over Memorial Day is the one in May, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Um, we went to the Cubs game on Memorial Day, and that was like the first like week of like, okay, we're gonna lift the mask mandate. And there's just like a ton of people there, no masks, and we just felt so weird. And I'm like, honestly, like if they still like made it like a thing where you have to wear a mask at like grocery stores and like public places like that where there's like big crowds of people that you don't know or associate with or like hang out with, like I wouldn't be like opposed to it. I mean, I think as COVID has been a thing, we realize how gross we are as a society.
Yes.
Like wash your hands and stop coughing on people, and like it's just gross. But I think people are more aware of that stuff now, and I like that. I like a cleaner living situation. But I don't know. Like I said, I don't really see the light at the end of the tunnel, at least in Chicago. But who knows?
Who knows? It could go many ways.
It could.
Do you have any exciting or any desires or plans for the rounding off of the year in 2022?
Um, let's see. We are going to Las Vegas to see the Raiders play um in the beginning of December. So we're gonna be there. I got those tickets for Michael's birthday.
Nice.
Um, so he's excited.
What
Um,
game?
they're playing the Washington football team.
Okay.
I think it's more of just like wanting to see the stadium than like whatever, but
Yes.
football is football, so we're good.
Football. That's going to be a fun. I mean,
Yeah,
a Raiders game in Vegas. That just sounds like a party.
I know. I'm a Packers fan and I'm still excited to go, like be a Raiders fan for a day. Um and then just like holiday stuff, nothing else planned. And then Michael's sister's turning 21, so we're gonna go to Nashville at the end of January. So it's kind of like my um the two major events I have coming up with the end of the year and the beginning of next year. So hopefully it'll all work out, but I'm excited for both.
Hopefully.
Yes.
Yes. Hopefully, no. I mean, I couldn't imagine that shutting down the entire domestic that flight pattern because of COVID.
Yeah, I don't anticipate that, but even if like that doesn't happen, maybe we'll figure something else out. But I think we talked about planning everything, so we got everything pretty much planned, and it'll be fun. Nashville's a fun time. Have you been there?
No.
Yeah.
No.
It's
Is
cool. It's um a huge like bachelorette party type of scene now. But even if you don't like country music, it's like they got everything there. And they have like cool restaurants and just like cool murals all around. And they've really like developed within the last 15 years. I went there a long time ago to visit my grandparents and when they lived there, and it was like more like country music focused. And now I went 2 years ago and it was more like they had like country music, but they also had like hip hop and rap and pop music playing at the bars and stuff. So it wasn't just country anymore. And I kind of like that. So I like a mix of both, but it'll be fun. There's a lot to do and a lot to see. So I'm excited, but they all haven't been there. So I kind of have to be like a mini tour guide.
Oh, wow. They
Yeah.
haven't been there?
No.
Oh, wow. That's gonna be exciting.
Yes. Gonna be awesome.
Wow. Well, Lexi, thank you for coming on the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Are there any last words that you'd like to tell the audience or you'd like to say?
Um, just like I said, be real with yourself, even on social media. Be real for your friends and family. Don't try to put on a facade. Nobody's going to like that. We like the real you. Those are my closing words for today.
Our guest today has been Lexi Sotiros. Thanks for coming on the podcast, Lexi.
Thank you.